Welcome back to the Takeout Political Panel Time. But first, welcome back to the Takeout Tavern. I've told you it's going to be a regular part of this program. Also, we had plans, really well-organized plans, to have the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on the show. The meeting with Trump ran late. He's doing other things. He will not be available tonight, maybe sometime in the future. Meanwhile, Democratic strategist Ameshia Cross is here. Republican strategist, former DHS spokesperson under the Trump administration, Tricia McLaughlin. We've got beer. I've got my coffee. It's always coffee, kids. You know that. I don't run with scissors on this show. So, Ameshia, I want to get your sense of what happened in New York last night and what it does or doesn't mean for the future of the Democratic Party.
Well, what happened in New York last night was that candidate to Zohran Mamdani actually endorsed. They won, and they won big. And they ran on affordability concerns. They ran on what matters to the people. They were not afraid to step out against traditional way, I think, in terms of the Democratic Party. And they were very much strong candidates who spoke to the needs of the people.
What does it mean for Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, New Yorkers both, who weren't where Mamdani was?
Well, Chuck Schumer was in trouble even before this race actually happened, to be fair.
Well, no doubt.
But I think that it sends a message to the Democratic Party that it's not just about affordability. It's also ensuring that you're really listening to and taking the pulse of where your voters happen to be. I don't want to, prognosticate this as a huge national shift, because I still think that New York is New York. And we're talking about the Bronx. We're talking about Brooklyn. We're talking about areas of New York that are already highly liberal and highly blue. So I don't think that they can be extrapolated on the whole at all. But I do think that the issues related to people's pocketbooks and housing and affordability, the cost of gas, the cost of food, that is not going to go away anytime too soon.
Patricia, you know well that Republicans are going to say not affordability. They're going to say they want to abolish ICE. They want to defund Israel. They want to may possibly eliminate the Israeli state, or it's not even recognize it. All those issues Republicans are going to try to promote nationally.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to have big implications for 2026 and potentially for 2028.
Meaning it's not going to stay in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and the Bronx.
I can't say it's New York in a vacuum, because, of course, you look at the Maine Senate race, you look at the Michigan Senate race with El Said, as with the issues with these New York candidates, the anti-Zionism, the pro-socialism, anti-capitalism. Even one of the candidates out of New York, she is a self-avowed communist herself. The open border policies, abolishing ICE, even one of the candidates saying that she wants to get rid of prisons altogether, including for murder. So this is going to have national implications. And to your point, Republicans view this as a gift, though I do think it's bad for the Democrat Party and it's bad for the country.
I mean, we just saw polling. There's recent polling to showcase where Americans are writ large as it relates to how they view the war in Iran. I think that it's a very important thing for people to remember that regardless of whether you're on the left or the right, the issue with the Iran war continuing to be ongoing and what it means for people's pocketbooks back home, what it means for individuals who did vote for Donald Trump in large part and supported the Republican Party in many cases was because they talked about being against endless wars. And right now we walked into one
things
where
being more affordable.
Then things being more affordable. These are things that the president himself ran on that are unfortunately for him right now not true. And every move that he has made since he's been in office, be it whether it was tariff strategy, be it whether it was his actions on health care, they have raised the prices for the average American. And I think that they're going to pay for it at the polls.
And let's talk about something that was on this program. Kate Conley, 17th District of New York, which Pete Aguiar, as we ran that SOT, said that's where the House majority is going to be decided. Yeah. Not on these in Mamdani endorsed seats in New York. And she's on here saying, no, I support the state of Israel. We need a two-state solution, and I want border security. So that's where she's going to be in a swing district that's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I thought she was actually pretty compelling on the interview. She was measured, and she's where she needs to be, especially after a primary. But I have to say, I think what President Trump is doing, what he started doing really yesterday in Pennsylvania, is speaking to the economic woes that Americans are feeling, but also speaking to the economic wins that we have had. He talked about yesterday $10,000 back in the pocketbooks of Pennsylvanians because of extending that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Also, $90 billion of investments, those Trump accounts, things that we haven't been able to talk a lot about as a Republican Party because we've been focused on this war. But also, number one, gas prices lower, lower, lower. 60 cents lower since the last few weeks.
Ameshia, you're happy to take this on,
I mean, the Strait of Hormuz just got closed again. Gas prices are going to go up through the roof yet again. We know that MOU turned out to be as useless as used toilet paper. We also know that the average American, 35 years old and under, still lives at home with their parents. That is not the American dream of any adult. And a lot of that is because people can't afford housing. And just today, the president shot down a bipartisan bill. Bipartisan. It's hard to get bipartisanship in this administration.
On housing and affordability.
On housing affordability.
Ameshia, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We got to go to break, and you can have a sip, ladies. You can have a sip. That's what the tavern is here for. Ameshia Cross, Tricia McLaughlin, stay with us.